All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here, Mark P Markets. Thank you for joining me for another Bitcoin video analysis session. I had some little internet trouble before, so if I get cut off, it's probably my internet. Anyway, so welcome to the stream. If you're new, let me explain to you how this works. So first, I'm going to go over the economic calendar, all right, which you can find in any platform to follow along. Then I'm going to go over the Bitcoin chart situation over here we're going to talk about. Right now, you're looking at a 4-hour chart, but we're going to look at the daily time frame. And then I'm going to go over the trade scanner. Okay, the Trade Scanner Pro. I'm going to see if I could find a trade worth taking, all right, on the third part of the stream. So I'm going to try to get to that as quickly as I can, because this actually is not the greatest time of day to be looking for day trades. If you're looking for day trades, normally you want to be looking at the U.S. market open, or sometime after the open, or like 2 p.m. Eastern time. You don't really want to be looking at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. That's usually a really bad time to take trades. But I want to see if I can find some examples. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. Again, thank you for joining me. I am streaming on Twitter and on Rumble. So if you're watching me on Rumble or on Twitter, I can't see your questions. If you have questions, come to YouTube. Just go to YouTube and look me up on there, and you can type the questions into the channel there. Okay, good to see you all. So we got Monica, and we got the unboxing channel. Okay, great. I just gave you a plug. And Steen, good to see you. All right. Also, I do have a special announcement here that I will be mentioning here momentarily as well. All right. So before we get started, let me just pull up my slide. Hold on a second. The infamous slide. This one. This is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. All right. And now, also, if you check the links in the description, you'll notice that there's one for Bybit and there's one for MEXC. These are affiliate links. Okay. So if you are looking for an exchange, or you want to try out another exchange, please consider one of these, because they are affiliate links for Steen. Steen is the guy here in the chat who helped me develop the Trade Scanner Pro, because I would not have been able to code this without him. Okay. So all the technology that you see that we're working with here is all of his work. So by opening an account with MEXC or Bybit and placing trades, fund the account and you place trades, he gets a small cut of the commission. And that goes a long way in helping him support the community and maintain all this great technology and all this great work that he's doing. Okay, so please consider that. All right. So, and I will get to your questions soon. UTXO. I live in Florida and used MEXC for a few weeks through a VPN. Eventually, okay, but they sent money really fast. Okay. So you have to, that's one thing with these. If you're US, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have to use the VPN, and it's kind of an annoying hoop to jump through, right? There aren't too many exchanges that offshore exchanges, offshore US, that will accept US. So I mean, eventually we'll be with Coinbase, but right now we're not with them. So consider these two, and anyone that's made that effort with the VPN, thank you. Steen appreciates that. Thank you for the support. Okay, so let's get started with the economic calendar. All right, before I get into this chart here, the economic calendar this week is very light. The whole purpose of even paying attention to it is because you want to be able to mitigate risk going to repeatable events that can cause a lot of movement, right? We're not trying to trade the economic calendar. We're just using it as a way to gauge some risk in case you have positions, or in case you're looking to open a position. You might as well wait until after the report, okay? So in this week, I only saw maybe two things worth mentioning, all right? So tomorrow is Tuesday, April 23rd, and I saw tomorrow we have S&P Manufacturing PMI. That was on the more important list. That's not really a major market mover, but I guess if there's a surprise, perhaps you'll see something intraday. I don't know. That's usually not a major report, okay? And then on Thursday, which is the 25th, we had, the only thing I saw worth mentioning was the Bank of Japan has their rate announcement. Most likely that's in the evening Eastern time, and then they have a press conference which goes into Friday. So I'm guessing, obviously this is like midnight Eastern time going into Friday, right? And if there are any surprises in something like that, you could see some sort of global movement. The bond market can react to something like that. The S&P can react if, again, there are surprises. Usually with these non-US rate announcements, usually they don't really move markets in a big way. But if you have like any Forex yen pairs or something like that, there can be some action there possibly. All right. So again, how would you use something like this? If you're in a position right now and you have profit in it and you're going into the report, perhaps you want to take some money off the table and reduce risk. Perhaps you want to take the whole thing off the table. Perhaps you just want to let it ride. You have to make that decision, right? A chart is not going to make that decision for you, like in that way. You have to decide how much risk you're willing to take or not take, right? It starts there, not with the chart. All right, anyway, so that's pretty much it on the economic calendar. We got Alex. Hey, Alex, good to see you. All right, by the way, some people have access to the Trade Scanner Pro. All right, my active investor group has people that have input their TradingView username into their Market Signals Pro profile. I've given access to a number of people. Alex has it, all right, and a few other people have it. If you have it, feel free to share pictures or talk about the trades that you've been taking with it. All right, and we're going to go over that here today as well. Now, so let's get into this chart next, shall we? And let me make myself small because you don't need to see my pretty face when we do this. Now, yesterday, here, I'm going to erase these lines because they really don't belong here now. Yesterday on TradingView, let's go to the daily chart. I wrote my article, and my article was based on this chart here, as you can see, right? And I basically drew an illustration on the chart, which were those squiggly lines. And the illustration basically pointed to a pullback going into the 60K support area, okay? Now, the 60K support area, which this arrow was pointing to, is a major support level, right? So we know this in advance. It's part of the range low that dates back, right, weeks here. This has been going back quite some time. It's been on my chart for weeks. And price has there are price reactions here that pretty much confirm that there's buying activity in this area. It's a higher low range support. So it's a pretty heavy support, right? And that's going to be meaningful in a number of ways, which I will explain in a moment. But my illustration, which was pointing to a pullback, was obviously incorrect. But when I put those illustrations, I want you to understand, I'm not looking to be correct. I'm just pointing out a potential scenario that you need to be cognizant of. Now, in the report itself, if you read the report, I wrote that this candle, in order for that scenario to even be in play, that candle right there, which was red at the time that I was writing it, that candle would have had to have closed red, or at least closed like it is right now, okay? Doji situation, whatever you want to call that. And the low had to be taken out. If the low is not taken out, then that bearish scenario loses its significance. This is why you can't just jump in front and say, okay, I feel this way. And you jump in front of it saying, yeah, it'll pull back. I know it will pull back. And it doesn't pull back. It never confirmed. That's very important, right? That's like the language I see. I wrote, and I mentioned this in my article as well. I see language in the chat rooms where people are saying, I expected Bitcoin to do this. You can't expect anything because that implies that you know more than the market. Now, maybe they're just using those words and they don't, maybe they don't mean those words exactly. But the thing is, when you say I expect, that implies certainty, right? I thought it was going to do this. Well, you know more than the market. By saying that, you imply that you know more than the market. Instead, if you say, well, I believed that there was a higher probability that we pull back based on lower high, okay, bearish pin bar or doji situation at a resistance level, and we took out the low. Now you're giving some reasons and a probability. You can still be wrong, but it's a probability, right? And you said, well, I was anticipating that we had a greater chance that we pull back, okay? And that's more of an open statement because you could be wrong, right? And you always have to embrace that uncertainty. Markets are highly random. A chart is not going to help us tell the future. All we're doing with the chart is we're looking for higher probability locations where certain types of price action may appear, right? And then that's how we're trying to make money on those reactions because that's where probability can be more favorable, or basically we can get a better idea of what the market will do next in that particular scenario. So let me explain that a little further now. In this situation, right, if we pull back into this area right here, that's a high probability support zone. So what can I anticipate there? Anyone want to tell me? What would be reasonable to anticipate if the market pulled back into this area? What can I anticipate? What would be within reason if we start testing this 60K area? Now, mind you, 60K could mean 59.5. It could mean 59.250. It could mean, 60.5. It could mean a few things. It's a zone. So Dijon says long. Hey, Giovanni, good to see you. Milad, how are you? Good to see you guys. All right, longs, exactly. So your expectations are in line with the probability of the location. This would be a place to consider longs. Now, why that's so important is because if you're watching a smaller time frame, keep in mind, this is the daily chart, right? If you're watching a smaller time frame, like a 5-minute or a 15-minute or something like that, in this area, it's going to look bearish. In fact, my Trade Scanner Pro, which I'm going to show you here in a moment, will actually be calling bearish trades. And the Trade Scanner Classic, the one that sends out emails, has been calling bearish trades in this area. And that was not really, those were risky because it was a resistance, but this is not a major resistance. It's a minor one, right? Why is it minor? Because it's not up here, right? It's minor because it was an old support, which is what I'm pointing out in this arrow. That's what this arrow is pointing out here, right? That was an old support, which could be a new resistance, but we need confirmation. We never got the confirmation, right? That's why you have to be careful with those. The Trade Scanner can't see that, okay? So you have to see it. But the point is this: if we have a pullback into here, which is still possible this week, by the way, that's still within reason. If this current candle closes weak or the next candle, and the next couple of days we get one of these situations that looks like that, bearish candle, then we're likely to test that low, okay? Now, again, you're looking for long signals in here. So what do you do if the Trade Scanner is saying bearish? You switch to counter trend mode. I'll show you all that, all right? I'm not going to show it here this second, but I'm going to show you that. But counter trend mode will basically be looking for long signals while the short-term trend is short, but the location is what matters more. So you waiting for something to give you confirmation? Trade Scanner on counter trend mode. Calls a long. Beautiful. It's calling a long at a very high probability location. And the beauty is, no matter what time frame you're looking at that on, the stop loss and take profit will be relative to that time frame. A common mistake is people will go long here, like let's say a 5-minute, right? You get a 5-minute signal to go long, and you put your stop relative to the 5-minute. But you put your take profit like way up here. That's out of proportion for the 5-minute. So chances are you'll get stopped out because it'll take forever for this thing to work. It may take a day or two for it to work its way up there. And before it works its way up there, it may tap you out first because the intraday ranges or the intra-minute ranges are so wide that it taps you out. And then it goes without you. And you're like, I don't understand. It's because you're mixing proportions. You can't do that. The Trade Scanner prevents you from doing that because it shows you the proportions. It shows you what prices you should be taking action at, right? Again, I'll show you all that stuff here soon. Okay, so that's where we are with Bitcoin. So right now, people may be getting excited and saying, okay, it's a long, it's a long. It was a long if you bought it at a lower level, okay? If you managed to take the risk in this area with inside bar long, right? If you manage to do all that on the daily time frame. This is not a long right now, okay? This is a very risky long because this zone is going to be problematic. As this thing pushes higher, you're going into a major resistance zone. So if you buy this right now, and I'm assuming we're talking about swing trades or day trades, not investing. If you buy this right now, you are asking for a lot of trouble. It might work, but you have to realize the win rate at this point is totally 50-50. It may work, it may not work. You're flipping a coin, okay? So if you decide to get into that because you're like, oh, it's strong, and all your favorite fake gurus tell you it's strong, and you buy it, it might work, Okay, it might do this, it might not. And if you continue to do that repeatedly, you will find out that you have a 50% win rate. Whereas a place like a location like this is much likely to be greater than 50% win rate if you're going long there, because that's what the probability favors. Does that make sense? So this here is less random than this. Does that make sense? That's how you have to look at it. Most of the time, markets are random, and most of the time, your choices are going to have random results, unless you have inside information, okay? And obviously you don't, because if you had, you wouldn't be here listening to me. All right, so that's pretty much how to play this. So swing trades, looking for longs here, 60K. This thing would be nice if it pulled back. It doesn't have to pull back. There's no way to know if it will pull back. It might pull back. That's the best we can do. And if it does offer the opportunity, then there's something to do. Now, keep in mind, if this level breaks, which is also a possibility, okay, it's a lower possibility, but it's a possibility. If it breaks, then you're looking at the mid 50s. Okay, you're looking at like this area, this whole area right here, this whole range, right? Mid 50s to low 50s. What is that? Like 52K to 55K. If 60K breaks, you're looking at something like that. And that might be more appropriate for investing. All right, depends on how the price action behaves there. But if you're going to place money for longer term, that might be a good starting point. Okay, that's not a place to put all your money in. That's just a starting point if we get that scenario. And something like that can take weeks to play out. Now, keep in mind the halving that the big, all the hype was about, oh, Bitcoin halving, this thing's going to be at 100K, blah, blah, blah nonsense. Halving was pretty much a non-event. When the halving occurred, like right over here in this area, what was it, the 19th? That was this candle over here. Okay. That's your halving. Completely useless, non-event nonsense. All right. That's why you can't pay attention to that stuff. Okay. The buying has been done since here. And I talked about it. I said the party was over. We've been range bound ever since. We have not made new highs. The buying is done. The only people that are probably buying this right now are retail. All right. The institution is done. That was the only thing that was driving this market most likely. And until they step back in, right, this type of price action in general is usually selling price action. Someone is getting out, okay, or people are getting out. Even when it does this, right, and you're like, oh yeah, it's going higher. They're selling this to you, okay? And when it gets saturated, then you get this. So please keep that in mind for over here. Don't be a sucker for all the nonsense that comes along with these green candles. Please keep that in mind. Use price structure and use levels as your guide, and you will most likely at least have a better gauge of your probabilities, right? Not, oh, I expected, but more like, okay, I think there's a greater chance that we get this outcome over this outcome. That is how you have to look at it. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions? Consolidating. Okay. Hey, Isaac. Isaac is another guy with the trade scanner. All right. Cool. So any questions about that? It's pretty straightforward. There's really, so to sum it up, there's nothing to do here. All right. I mean, shorting this is high risk because it can go either way. Right. It may test these higher levels. It may not. So don't get wrapped up in trying to be right. I need to be right. You need to be looking at probabilities. And until there's a confirmation, if you want to short something like this, which would be extremely aggressive, you need at least a bearish confirmation, something. We don't even have a bread candle. Okay. You need a bearish candle and the low needs to be taken out, at least at minimum bearish candle on this time frame. Okay. When we look at a 4-hour chart, here's a 4-hour time frame. Okay. And yeah, you can make some arguments like, well, there's a resistance right here. Yes, there is. And look, it reacted. Okay. You got a pin bar developing on the 4-hour, but that pin bar is not closed. It's still open. It needs to close, right? And then this low needs to be taken out. Also notice there was a pin bar before it. Okay. Notice also before that, there was an inside bar, a bearish one. Lows never taken out. Look at this. There was a pin bar sort of. This is not exactly the same effect as a pin bar. It has a longer tail. See this? but the open to the close is too wide. So those are a little tougher to deal with, right? Either way, never took out the low. So there are no sell signals, right? And even though Trade Scanner, the emailer, the Trade Scanner Classic, which I'm going to refer to, called some shorts, like it called shorts back here, those shorts are going to get stopped out in these situations. And this wasn't a bad level. I mean, look, there was some significant reason to go short there, right? You had some pin bars, double top, failed high situation. There were some compelling reasons to take that trade, but stopped out. It's going to happen. Okay. Keep in mind, Trade Scanner Classic operates mostly on the 4-hour time frame. Trade Scanner Pro operates on whatever time frame you want. All right. So, any questions? Let me see here. All right. By the way, people, if you're not in the community, my free Discord community, make sure to check that out. There's a link in the description. There's a free area, and you can. There's a lot of good information that flows through the system. All right. Now, it's almost 3:30. What I want to do now is I want to get into the market, okay? I want to get into the Trade Scanner Pro, and I want to see if we can find some trades, at least one trade. And what I'm gonna do is we'll look through a couple of time frames, but I'm gonna most likely work on the 1 minute, 2 minute charts, something like that, to see if we can find a trade. I'll also show you counter trend mode, right? So what I'm about to show you, keep in mind, it's a demonstration of Trade Scanner Pro, which, by the way, is now available for sign up. Okay, it took. I'm a week behind. I was hoping to be at this point a week ago, but it's available now. So if you want to know how to get there, maybe Steen, you want to share the link in the chat. We set up a page where you could sign up for a 14-day free trial. Okay, so let me pull up the Trade Scanner Pro. Here, it's on this chart right here. Okay. Man, this NASDAQ today was ridiculous. How do I know I'm using the Trade Scanner Pro? Well, if you look over here, you see that right there? That's the trend. It tells me the trend, and it tells me what mode I have on, okay? Like trailing stop mode, or if I'm in counter trend, right? So that means the Trade Scanner Pro, which as you can see over here, right? Trade Scanner Pro is on the chart. Now, let's switch. This is a 15-minute chart. I guess we can look at the NASDAQ because it's 30 minutes. The NASDAQ is still pretty wild right now. It's still the market time. Let's go to a 1 minute. There's a trade on the 1 minute. Look, and it's pretty new. Okay, I'm going to see if I can grab this. All right, hold on. Let's see, do I have this? Oh, they turned me off. All right, well, we're just going to have to play with it like this. Let me see something. Can I set this up real quick? Let's see. Okay, I can. All right, so I got my trade panel back, right? So I'm going to take 2 contracts here. 2. I'm going to go long. All right, so we'll see how this plays out. So I'm long 2 contracts of the NASDAQ CFD. All right, on a 1 minute chart. Now, mind you, let me explain some things that are going on here. So this time of day is not, like I said before, it's 3:30 in the afternoon. Okay, I just got long based on this signal, which was on the chart when I happened to pull up the chart on a 1 minute. Now, it's 3:30. The market closes in about 30 minutes. If you're at this point of the day, if you're green, you should not continue. If you're red, you should not continue because anything can happen, right? Inside of this time here, let me go back to my square. Anything like in this period, right? Basically going up until 4 o'clock. Where's 4 o'clock? Over here. I mean, this is a highly random time, right? That entire time box right there is highly random, and anything can happen. So trades here are probably not going to be the best, but we're going to give it a try and see what it looks like. Now, you can see here the Trade Scanner. This is Trade Scanner Pro. Oh, it gets filtered out. Okay, I'll type it in. Hold on, Steven, I'll type it in. So people, if you want to get the free trial for this, here it is. Okay. I'm going to type it in. Hold on. Market Signals Pro. And then it's Trade Scanner Now, again, Steen helped set all this up too. So, thank you, Steen, for all this great help. He also shared the link in the community. So you can find it in there as well. But I'm going to put it here. Let me just make sure I spelled it right. Okay. That should be the link. And you guys should see that. It shouldn't filter out mine. See that? I put it in the channel there. So that's the link. Market Signals Pro, Trade Scanner Pro. Okay. If you go there, it's going to take you to the sign up page for this. And you can get a 14-day free trial, whether you do the monthly or the yearly. Okay. And you'll see the pricing and everything. So you're not getting just this, by the way. You're getting access to the premium channels in the community. You're getting a few things. You're getting access to the student meetings. Okay, cool. So now people, so when you ask me, is it available? There's the link. All right. This hasn't been available till now. We've been working on it like the whole week, trying to get the thing set up so that we can start logging people in. Now, keep in mind, if you sign up for the 14-day free trial, please listen to what I'm about to tell you. I have to manually send you an invite. Okay. So you're going to have to give me a few hours. So you're not going to, so as soon as you sign up, you're not going to get this instantly. I'm going to see your sign up, and then I'm going to look up your TradingView name, and then I'm going to input you manually. So I need some time for that. All right. So if you sign up today, I'll have you in today, and you'll be able to use this thing tomorrow, but it's not going to be instant. I'm going to need a couple hours, just so you know. Okay. All right. Anyway. So let's see let's see if this thing is working out over here. This does not look good. Now, I'm going to give it a chance here. This is a 1-minute chart. Let's go to the 2-minute chart. Let's just see if if there's a signal on the 2-minute. No signal on the 2-minute. There's just 1 minute. Okay. Now, so let me point a few things out here while we're waiting for this thing to do something. And I may just get out of it just because I don't want to take the full stop. Let's see. All right. I'm minus $22. All right. We'll see how this thing goes. Now, make sure you don't forget to put in your TradingView username. Yeah, if you don't put in your TradingView username in the sign-up form, I won't be able to add you manually. I need to see your TradingView username. All right, I don't like this. I'm going to blow this out. Let's see. And if this candle is closing like that, okay, you know what? Goodbye. If I get a green candle, I'll get back in. So this is what I mean. This is a momentum system. It's based on the trade scanner, right? So when I take a trade, the next candles should not look like this. So I got out for less than the risk. Like I was saying before, this gives me the risk and the reward for this time frame. That was the full risk, which on this case was 247 to 220. What is that? 228. So that's about what, 20 or 19 points of risk on the NASDAQ, right? 19 points. I got out a little earlier than that. Okay, so I don't have to take the full loss here. And this is going to happen, right? The reward on this thing, by the way, was 276. So what is that, like 30 points? 30 points of profit. That's basically, this is a 1.5 to 1 reward risk, right? If this risk is 1, this is 1.5. That's set automatically. In fact, you can see where it says here, Trade Scanner Pro 1.5. You see that? That means your reward risk is set to 1.5. Now, can you change that? Yes, you can. You go here to your setup panel, right? And you see I have a few controls here. I have heads up, I have trailing stop, I have counter trend, and I have show trend. All right. Heads up are these orange candles. I'll explain those in a minute. We got stopped out, but I got out early. How nice. Thank you, Trade Scanner, for getting me out earlier. We have the trailing stop, which you haven't got to see yet here. The counter trend, all right, and the show trend is what controls this little menu up here. So you also notice I have reward ratio. See this? So I could change this. It says 1.5. I could change this to 1. I can change it to 2, right? So this thing just sold off. All right, no problem. The trend is now bearish. If you see this thing turned bearish, all right, I got out earlier. I saved myself a little money. And you say, well, who cares? It's still a losing trade. Right, but I'd still be losing if I was still in this thing, okay? So what do I do now? Do I short this thing? No, I'm not going to chase it. But what I can do is I can take a look at my bigger picture real quick, right? 30-minute. See what's going on here. There's a trade on the 30-minute. What is this? Oh, there was a sell signal. Okay, see, when this happens, there was a sell signal which should have been stopped out, but that's because the trailing stop is still on. If I turn this off, it'll go away, right? Okay, so that was a stopped out trade on this time frame. Now, I'm looking to see, like, is this thing generally a long or a short? Well, I mean, after a move like this, I would think it's generally long, right? So I'll be open to counter trend trades on this time frame. So what do? I'm sorry, not on this time frame, on the smaller time frames. So I go back to my 1 minute. I say, okay, it looks like it's pulling back, right? But I'm going to go back to my settings and I'm going to put on a trailing stop and I'm going to put on counter trend. Okay. Now, counter trend, oh, it's still in a trade. So now, Steen, so if it's still in this trade, I guess I can't reset this. I can't reset this so that I look for a new counter trend trade. Look at this trade, which obviously I'm not in. But there was a counter trend trade called here on the 1 minute. And the trailing stop right now is at the take profit. See that? But I'm not in that trade, right? I took the long, which was on the side of the trend at the time. Now it's got this counter trend. You say, well, how is that counter trend when this says bearish? Because at the time, the trend was bullish. It changed, okay? So wait, if I turn off the trailing stop, right? If I turn it off, but the thing is, if I turn this off, right, this trade will go away. So what, then I have to wait for a new trade now? And activate the trailing stop after the new signal. Okay, okay. So if I was looking for counter trend now, which would be bullish, I would wait for the new signal, right? And that's why I turn that thing off. This may seem confusing to you, but you have to play with it yourself, right? I'm trying to explain this and take trades at the same time. Now, if you notice these orange candles developing, right? Those are what I call heads up. Heads up means a signal is likely to appear soon over the next few candles. So it's not a good idea to step in front of this, although I'll just do it with one contract, right? To demonstrate how this can be helpful for advanced traders. I'm going to buy one. So I bought one and the market looks horrible, right? It's selling off, but I'm getting these orange candles. So the idea is if I get the signal over the next few candles, I'll buy a second one. If I don't, I'll just blow this out for a loss. Okay, but I'm only losing on one rather than losing on two. Or three if I buy a third one, if I add two on the signal. Now, keep in mind, the heads up, the way it works is over the next few candles, right? So on a 1 minute, that means maybe in the next 5 minutes, I'll see a signal, possibly. I'm not seeing it yet. And in fact, it's not a good idea to step into these heads up. It's not a good idea, but I'm just showing you for demonstration purposes. I want you to see what happens, okay? If this was a 30-minute chart, then it will take maybe a few hours, right? If we were looking at 30-minute bars and we saw the heads up, that means a signal may be developing over the next couple of hours. Does that make sense? If we were looking at a 4-hour chart, then the heads, and we saw a heads up, that means maybe over the next 8 to 12 hours, a signal may be appearing. Does that make sense? So make sure you understand that. It's all relative to the time frame. So all this orange, okay, cool. Let's see. Now, it doesn't matter how much orange there is. It doesn't matter if there's 10 candles. It doesn't matter if there's one candle. You could see here there was some heads up over here before that signal was called, right? The short signal. So there's only 2 orange candles there. So it doesn't matter how many show up. It just matters that they turn orange. So no signal yet. There's nothing for me to do. I took a 1 long. It's against me a little bit. Okay, where I got this thing at what price? 202, and it's about what, 10 points against me? It's at 190 right now, and it's not recovering. So I may get out of this soon because again, it was early and there was no guarantee I was going to get a signal. I was just hoping to get one so I could show you. But let's see. Let's give it a little bit of a chance. Again, it's on paper. And this is, again, when you do something like this, this is where you really have to be aware of the bigger picture. All right, let's go back to the 1 hour chart real quick. And let's see, like what's going on here. If you see on the hourly, right, again, this is the NASDAQ, there is an old resistance here. So it's likely we see some support. I'll try to give this a chance. But, let me tell you, like, I have a lot of experience with the NASDAQ, and trying to give it a chance is a very hard thing to do. The way this thing moves, it's very hard to deal with, especially when you have the futures contracts on, even the micros, because it can move so far against you so quickly. And you're like, oh, I'll give it a chance. It's the only way this would work is if I was working really with nano lots, which you can do on some brokers. Forex brokers, like the CFD, you could trade what are called nano lots, which would be 1/10 the size of a mini lot. That in these situations, you can build a small position with nano lots, because if it continues like this on you, you're not losing that much, and you could just blow it out. But if it starts going your way, see, look, it starts going your way, then you can work with that a little easier. It gives you more flexibility. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that right now. We're waiting for the signal. Okay, so let's see if we get the counter trend signal. We definitely want to see this. We're in a location where this should be likely. Okay, I want to join Bitcoin rally, but it's not giving me a pullback. Okay, then you don't join it. Or if you're not willing to take the risk, it's all about how much risk you're willing to take. Look at this candle. All right, so let's see if I get the signal. I should get one after this. I should get a signal. Now, keep in mind, I bought one while I got the warning. I got the heads up. So I'm long one. Now I want to see if I can, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to add 2 on the signal. So I'll have 3 in total, right? Let's see if it works. When this candle closes, a signal should pop up. Okay, so you'll see how the signal here, there it is. I'm going to buy. I bought 2. So again, how was I able to know that? Because the heads up told me it was coming. Do you see how that works? So I bought one early just to have one, but usually you just want to wait for the signal. So you know that it's likely to come. Now this signal may still get stopped out. It happens all the time, even after the heads up, but we'll see how it goes. Now, if you notice, this is a lot closer than it was earlier, right? The take profit. It's because I set the reward risk to 1-to-1. I changed it from 1.5-to-1 to 1-to-1, which means I'm looking to make the same exact that I'm looking to risk. See that? This is my risk. This is my reward. It's 1-to-1. It's the same. Now, the thing that is not the same here is I'm long more than I was before. I had, 2 before? Now I have 3. So if this works, I should actually be ahead. If this doesn't work, I'm just going to be red more. The NASDAQ on a 1 minute, again, is very noisy, especially this time of day. So I have to point that out. If you really want to see more stable markets, I mean, I would have to probably do this at another time, like maybe 2 p.m. Eastern time, and maybe look at something else, something a little more stable, like the euro, maybe the pound. Like this works nicely on Forex because those markets are slower. The NASDAQ is a mess. This thing's all over the place, right? It's very hard to trade this thing to begin with, but there's action. That's why I want to show you. So while we're letting this thing play around here, let's just take a quick look and see if I can spot something. Let's pull up like Bitcoin. BTC, USD, perp. All right, we'll come back to the NASDAQ, but let's just see if we could find, let's see, is there anything on Bitcoin? I'll use BitGet. Let's see, is there anything here? Let's look at the time frames. 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. Now, I'm on counter trend mode, right? So in this thing, in counter trend mode, this is bullish. So I should be looking for a short. Wow, look at this. Look at these heads up. Look at the heads up, right? That was a heads up for a short. Look at that. Anyway, okay, not getting anything there, right? Let's look at the 15 minute. Something on the 15 minute. What is this? Oh, there was a short called about an hour ago, and it was somewhat profitable, and now it's giving it back. All right, nothing there. So there's really nothing there. All right, let's go back to the NASDAQ. All right, so the NASDAQ is green now. You see that? Okay, not bad. Now, where's my trailing stop? It's not on. So let me turn it on. See this? I went to the settings, trailing stop. Now, I will see a trailing stop begin to follow this thing. It'll come from here. Watch. All right, so you guys see how this works? Okay, so after the next candle close or two, you're going to see an orange line start following this thing. That's the trailing stop. The advantage to something like that is, with the trailing stop on, what will happen is if the price takes out my take profit, the trade will still be open on the chart. You'll still see it on the chart, and it will only stay open until the trailing stop is touched. Okay, which means if there's a runner, meaning the NASDAQ decides to do something stupid and goes like up here, I can possibly ride that thing, and I have a visual reference to keep me in. That's huge because now that skews my reward risk. I'm at 1-to-1, but this may turn into, if the market allows, This may turn into a 3-to-1 trade or a 4-to-1 trade. That's how you make money. That is what sets you up to be profitable over time. Okay. What trading view plan do you recommend? You can use the free plan. You don't need to pay. By paying for TradingView, you do get some extra perks, like you can set up more than one notification. I would suggest starting out, try the free plan. You don't need, because again, you don't need lots of charts to do this. In fact, we're going to be working on another version of this soon, where we're going to have a dashboard, right? And the dashboard will sit on your chart like this. It'll be like a dashboard, and you will input your symbols, right? You can input up to 10 symbols, and you can input your time frames, which means you can now track this price action, this type of thing across 10 markets, across multiple time frames, and it'll tell you when a signal pops up, right? So it'll be like, bimp, like a signal popped up over here on, maybe this is pound dollar, right? You have pound dollar on the 4 hour, and a signal pops up. Instead of watching charts, you just go right to it. And you set up your notifications so that it pops up on your TradingView app or whatever, and you'll be good to go. Like, that's amazing, right? We're not there yet. Right now, you're getting this, what you see here. There's the trailing stop. Look, right? Wow, that's barely moved yet. But as the market goes higher and higher, the trailing stop will begin to follow, as you will see. Now, we haven't touched the take profit yet. This is a 1-to-1 reward risk if it gets there. So if it gets there, I'm going to blow out 2. I'm going to sell 2. How much am I up? I'm up like $50. These are micro lots. These are micro lots in the CFD. They're not big contracts. Okay, so we pop up a little bit more. I'll blow out a 2, trying to give it a chance to reach a take profit. Man, it's 1-to-1. You can't move 1-to-1. This is what I do all day. I argue with the NASDAQ. Yeah. So again, with the TradingView platform, you can use the free version, just to be clear. You don't need a paid version to use this. But again, I recommend going to Market Signals Pro, like the link we shared earlier, and signing up for a 14-day free trial of this. All right, and as you can see, my pricing is not ridiculous either, but these are introductory prices, right? We're going to raise these prices at some point. I don't know when, but these are, I want to start out reasonable so that you have a chance to work with this thing and you have a chance to see some results. All right. And you don't get billed until after the 14 days. So you can cancel anytime. All right, look at that. We're almost at the take profit. I'm gonna sell, and you can't go just a little more. NASDAQ does this to me all day. Prices are very fair. Yeah, I appreciate that. I set them that way. I'm lower than most of my competitors because I want to be reasonable. I know that, I know how this game works, and I know how people just try to basically fleece you. I'm not trying to do that. I want you to have a tool that, there we go. Oh, Steen, why did it tap me out? Okay, I'm getting out of 2. Where's my trailing stop? Do I have to turn it back on? It tapped me out. My trailing stop should be following this. You see that, Steen? You see how that worked? So why? Can you tell me why? So I'm long 1 right now. I blew out 2 at the take profit. Now that was a 1-to-1 reward risk. So I locked in a little profit, and I'm up like $20 on this third contract. Okay. So let's see how far it goes. Now at this point, I don't have my trailing stop. I was hoping to have it and just wait for the trailing stop to get reached. Can I put this thing? What if I do this? I click on replay and we rewind. Okay. And we see where the trailing stop should be. Oh, look, I'm getting tapped out now. Yes, I second that. Your price. Oh, okay, cool. Well, Monica, you're in, so you don't have to. Monica, you're an active investor. So all you have to do, Monica, is put your username in your user profile, and then I'll activate you. You haven't done that yet, but once you do that, you're an active investors get this for free. Okay, but if you're not an active investor, then So you saw that, Steen. You saw how that worked. That happens, and I don't understand why. So, but if I go back to the replay, check this out. right? I rewind the trade by going to the replay. By the way, this is not available on the free version on these small time frames. Look, the trailing stop, actually, that's not the same trade. If I go here, right, and I move this thing forward, this is the trade, right? So this is the trade. Now, can I pause? Oh, it just, all right, never mind. I think this thing would have tapped the trailing stop on this move right here. But I'm going to give it a chance now. If we take out the low of this candle, I'll just blow it out. I'm still green on the trade, right? Because I entered remember, I had an early entry on the heads up, which is not a good idea because this could have kept going. But I bought one over here before the signal because I was anticipating a signal. I got the signal here. It went to the take profit, 1-to-1 reward risk. And now it's fooling around on me. So not exactly, this is not what a runner looks like usually. All right, I'm just going to get out of this. Out. So I made something on that. I'm short. Wow, I shorted one. Okay, hold on. Buy it back. All right, I'm out. I'm flat now. Okay, but you saw how we got a little opportunity there to see how a trade works. This is what I just showed you is typical of the NASDAQ. Okay, and that's why 1-to-1 is usually a better choice than 1.5-to-1. This never made it to 1.5-to-1. All right, and it turned around. This would be breaking even on me now. So that's why you're better off with something quick like this. Remember, this thing moves really fast. Something like this, you're better off just taking what you can, 1-to-1, and get out. Now, keep in mind, the first one that I took, right, I got stopped out less because remember, I took that smaller stop, right? I never let it go to the full stop. And the second trade that I took, I had 3 contracts on. The first trade, I had 2 contracts. The second trade, which I started here, I was able to put on 3, right? I bought, like I said, I bought 1 over here, and then I bought 2 over here. And I blew out of 2 of them at the 1-to-1. And then I blew out of the next one, the third one here, which obviously that wasn't a big profit, right? But it wasn't a loss either. The thing is, I gave that thing a chance. That thing could have been a runner. Okay, now the market is closing in like a few minutes. That's why, again, I warn people, this is not a good time to take these type of trades. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Do you see how this works? Pretty cool, right? So again, if you're interested in this, here, I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Hold on a second. I'm going to see if I can pull this up so you guys can see for yourself. Hold on. So while we're waiting for a trade, right? The link is in the community. I typed it earlier in the chat here, and I'm going to show you the page because I can now, because I don't have to worry about doing things like this. Like when I was streaming over on TradingView, I couldn't do things like this. Okay, so if you go to this page, okay, this is the page, Market Signals Pro, Trade Scanner Pro. That's the link that I shared earlier. It'll take you to this page right here, okay? It explains the trade scanner, right? It's a little bit about me. Here's the pricing. So this is cool. What color is this, Stian? So this explains what you get, right? This is the yearly, this is a monthly. Oh, I know, we're going to work on this. So if you subscribe to one of these, you're getting a 14-day free trial, okay? So it's $22.50 a month if you pay a year in advance. That's $270. Again, each one of these has a 14-day free trial, right? So like, if you click on one, it's like, I want to do the monthly. So you click on subscribe now. It takes you to this page right here. Look what it says, 2 weeks for free, then $30 a month. You can cancel this anytime before the 14 days. Now, please don't wait till like 15 days and say, oh, I meant to cancel. Can I have my money back? It's your responsibility to cancel. Please don't take advantage of me. People try to do that, believe it or not. And I don't give refunds in that situation. If you forgot, I can't help you. Like you forgot. You have every opportunity. You have 14 full days to cancel this thing, and you will not get billed. All right. Otherwise, you will get billed after the 14 days. So this is where it takes you. You fill this out. Now, in this form over here, make sure This is probably the most important field right here besides the payment information. See it right here? It says TradingView user. See that? You have to put your username in here. Otherwise, I can't manually add you. So I need to add you manually. So once you fill this out and you sign up and you have your free trial, you're going to have to give me a few hours. Please listen, because I know I'm going to get messages. How come I'm not in? How come I don't have the invite? I have to add you manually. So just give me a few hours. And if you sign up today, I'll have you manually enrolled today. I'll get you. I'll make sure you're on there before the day is over. I'll make sure you're in. Okay. And you'll see, the way you do that, you go to your, on your platform, right? You just click over here up on this thing and you'll see invite only. Okay. So I'll show you real quick. Can I show you? It'll say invite only. See, invite only. You click on invite only and that's where you'll see it. See that? And that's how you add. You just click on it and that's how you have it. Okay. So that's gray. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that. May have to change the color there. But I know that's just, I know it's the preliminary one. So okay, no problem. All right, so I don't see any of the signals here. Let's look around and let's see if there's signals somewhere else. I mean, this is the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ's a pain. So let's look around. Let's see Bitcoin. Let's see if there's anything on Bitcoin Perp, because there was this nice move. Let's look around, see if we could find something. Now, this is really not how you use this. You really shouldn't be jumping around. You should just be setting up your one chart, your one time frame, which you have to decide, because with the Trade Scanner Pro, you can use any time frame. You could do 1 minute, you could do 5 minute, you could do 30 minute. You set it to your preference, but you don't sit in front of your computer like I'm doing right now. This is really not the way to do it. The way to do it is you have your chart set up. Let's say it's a 30 minute. Okay, so I want to watch this on a 30 minute. There's a 30-minute signal here. Look, actually, there's a long, no, that's a short, and it's going against it. Okay, but what you want to do in this situation is you don't want to sit here because you may have to wait hours for a signal. So what you do instead is you go here. See that? You click this to add a notification, and then you can you just click over here, right? And you click on it'll tell you, it'll say Market Signals Pro. Where is it? See this here? See this up here? See this? You simply go to Trade Scanner, right? And then you set up how you want to receive the notification. If you have the TradingView app on your phone, for example, or on a tablet, you can choose a pop-up, you can choose a sound, you can choose an email, you choose how you want to get that notification. Once you set that up, and on the free version, you can only set up one. If you have a paid version, you could set up more. But so let's say you have the free version, you set up one, and then you walk away. You do whatever else you were doing. You don't sit in front of a computer, because sitting in front of a computer can be, you may think you see things, you may get tempted to do things. You want to wait for these signals. Because again, look, the signal could be wrong. I mean, look at this. This was a short and it's not working. Okay, so they don't all work out nicely. Now this still has some time to go, and this thing may eventually turn out to be a winner. We don't know. But this is a 30-minute chart. These candles, I mean, this candle is about to close, right? This is a 30-minute candle. It's about to close. So the next 30-minute candle may be back here. Okay, we don't know. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to stream for another 30 minutes to find out, but that's to give you an idea. So this is a short. Now keep in mind, this is counter trend, right? I don't recommend counter trend for beginners. You should just stick to the trend. If you were on the trend, there's no signal. Okay. Short on Matic. Oh, okay. Steen says short on Matic. Let's take a look. Thanks, Steen. Let's take a look. See, instead of Steen telling us, we're going to have a table telling us. All right, so Steen, you said short? I'm seeing a long here on the 30-minute. This is a long on the 30-minute. Okay, let's look around other time frames. What do we have here? This is a 5-minute. How about a 1 minute? Oh, so you're seeing the short on the 1 minute. Okay. And is this counter trend? No, this is with the trend because it's bearish. I'll try taking this real quick. Let's see. Let's just do like 5. Oh, forget it. It's like halfway there. Forget it. I'm not going to chase it. But see, something like this. This is the spot market, right? You can do that with this, no problem. But I would prefer like a futures contract. Okay, because here you have to short the outright coins. You know, you're shorting whatever, 5 coins, 10 coins, 100 coins, whatever it is. With the futures contract, you're doing one contract, which is going to represent an amount of coins, usually. Okay, and you have to decide what leverage to use. So let me give you an example. In a situation like this, right? The trade scanner is telling you your risk and your reward. I'm going to change this now to 1.5 to 1, which is the default setting, right? 1.5. Okay, so it's going to move the take profit further. See that? So the take profit, this is now 1.5 to 1 reward risk. It's no longer 1 to 1. When should you use which one? You need to know your market. Okay, like NASDAQ 1 to 1 is usually a little more appropriate because NASDAQ changes so quickly. Something a little slower, you know, like a coin or a Forex pair, usually you can keep your 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1. Usually those markets are not so quick to turn. So when you have momentum, a lot of times it will stay intact more than the NASDAQ compared to the NASDAQ, just to give you an idea. Now look at this, look at the take profit. I mean, look at the trailing stop. See that? I could turn that off, but you should use the trailing stop because this has reduced my risk in half. You realize that, right? This was my risk. Okay. This is my risk now. See how it just moved. See that? My risk just got cut in half. Now, keep in mind, you must respect these orders. These are order suggestions. That's how I refer to them. You must respect this stop. If you don't, you can lose all of your money. I cannot emphasize that enough. Please put that, write that on a piece of paper and glue it to your head, because if you just say, ah, whatever, it'll come back. You may be taking a position at a very, very inconvenient location, right? Like you may be going short at Bitcoin 60K and it goes up through your stop and you're like, it'll come back. And the thing goes straight to 70K. Like you don't want to get caught in that. Respect the stops. Please respect the stops. That includes the trailing stop. All right. Especially if it's against you. So at this point, I mean, I'm not in this trade, but if I was, I mean, it would be in my favor. And this thing is closing up my risk. Eventually, this will be at break even. Right. And my trade becomes risk free. So one of the great advantages to this is it clears your mind of all of the confusion and all of the conflict. It just tells you, here are the orders. Just the biggest thing you have to learn how to do is wait. Anyone can learn how to wait. Okay. You don't have to really do anything else. It helps if you understand context when it comes to using counter trend and stuff like that. And I put that function in there, or I had Steen put that in there for more advanced traders. The initial, like the Trade Scanner Classic, which is what this is based on, doesn't have counter trend. Okay, it only has trend. So counter trend was meant for more advanced traders. In the beginning, just use it like this, right? No counter trend. Your settings should look like this, right? Keep the heads up on, keep your trailing stop on, no counter trend, and wait for a signal. Now you may have situations where it comes close to your take profit and it starts giving you a hard time. Like right now, if you were in this and you're like, I want to kind of get out of one. Okay, get out of one. Lock in some profit. There's nothing wrong with locking in profits. Okay. Okay. So any questions, you guys? So again, you want to get this thing free trial? Here it is. Okay, marketsignalspro.com, Trade Scanner Pro. I put the link in the chat earlier, but if you go to marketsignalspro.com, right, I believe on the home page, right at the top, you just click on Trade Scanner Pro, right, and it takes you to this page. And you'll know you're on the right page because you see all these pictures. Now look at this. These are just some examples I had Steen include on the bottom here. Trade Scanner Pro results. We're going to change that word, Steen, to examples. But if you click on one, it makes the chart bigger. See? So you can see some examples of what this thing looked like on multiple time frames. Also, I have an example. This is Microsoft, okay, on a 3-minute chart. So I have like a stock example. I have a Forex example, right? This is the pound dollar, right? A Forex example. So I have a couple of examples here. This is the daily chart example over here, right? So I have some examples. Has he changed this? Okay, we got to work on these two. All right, we're still working on this page, but the main part is you can sign up, and this is what it costs. Okay, $22.50 a month if you pay the yearly, or $30 a month if you pay monthly. These are not ridiculous prices. Okay, and again, I priced it that way so that you have a chance to work with this thing, because honestly, you do need more than 14 days, because you have to get used to it. You have to get used to certain things and how it works. You also have to get used to using the notifications. So it's going to take you a little time, right? But if you pay the $30 or whatever, I mean, now you have a whole month plus the 14 days, and that should pretty much give you an idea, right? But theoretically, you should be on this thing for a few months to really get an idea, especially when you're trying to employ context and use context, like the trailing stop example. So if you sign up for this thing, what I encourage you to do is go to use like follow something like Bitcoin, or follow your favorite coin, Ethereum, whatever it is, and follow my levels, right? So like, for example, Bitcoin, 60K, right? That's a major support, okay? Bitcoin, 60K. Oh, look, almost has to take profit. Let's go back to Bitcoin, right? And let's just put the perp back on. Perp means perpetual futures, okay? Perpetual futures contract. All right, and what's going on here? Sometimes it leaves an old trade on the chart, and the way to get rid of the old trade is you have to turn stuff off. In this case, it's the trailing stop that you have to turn off, okay? If you leave the trailing stop on, it'll leave the trade on. So with something like this, watch the 60K support and use the Trade Scanner Pro in counter trend mode around the 60K support. I would recommend using maybe a 15-minute chart, a 30-minute chart, right? Something like this, a 15-minute. And you're watching for long signals, and you will get the heads up before a long signal appears. See, right now, look, this trend is bullish. So on bullish trends, you notice over here, what's that? There's an orange candle there. You see it? See this orange candle? There's only one. But that's a warning that a long signal is likely to come soon. And you may ask, well, was there ever a long signal? Well, we can find out. We click on replay. We go back to here, okay? And let's play it back, one candle by one candle. Let's see where there's the warning, right? Do we ever get a long signal? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there's one. So look at that. These are 15-minute candles, right? So look at this. The long signal, the warning appeared here, and then at 15:30, it took 45 minutes. Okay, actually, yeah, I'm sorry, 30 minutes. It took 30 minutes after the warning. So in total, 45 minutes, right? But after the warning closed, it took another 30 minutes for the signal to appear. Do you see how that works? Now, let's see how far this goes. I saw there was some green in this, but I don't know how much. Let's see. Okay, right? Not bad. You could do this too, by the way. You can play these playbacks, but if you have the free version of TradingView, you won't be able to do this on small time frames. You can only do this on the daily time frame. All right, just keep that in mind. If you pay for TradingView, you can do it like I'm doing it here on a 15-minute. Okay, so oh look, that one not looking good, right? I mean that popped up there, but not looking good. When you're seeing stuff like that, this is all over the place. Okay, that's a 15-minute. This may have tapped you out. This may have scared you out, but it never went to the stop. Okay, let's just see how this goes. Now, meanwhile, too, look at this. This is profit right here. It's not 1.5 to 1 reward risk, but this is 1 to 1. How do I know? Well, you just take a rectangle here like that, right? That's your risk, and you put it here. And look, I mean, that's pretty much 1 to 1 reward risk right there. Okay, that means you're basically at this point, you've made what you've risked. Okay, that's not a bad place to take something off the table. But why is the default set 1.5 to 1? Because if you're getting these most of the time and you're reducing your risk, your reward risk ratio skews higher over time. And that's what you need to be profitable. Okay, that's what gives you a greater chance. Let's watch the next candle here. Oh, look at that. Right up there. Right up there. Does it go through or no? Like that, you should be out. Like it never touched, but that's ridiculous. Look, and it gives the whole thing back. That is ridiculous. This happens. Look at that. Goes back to break even. Oh, look at that. This was a 1.5 to 1. Look at that. Right up to it. I mean, how close was this? This is ridiculous. Look at this. Missed it by just a tiny bit. So when you see situations like that, if you happen to see it, it doesn't hurt to take a little action. Maybe if you had 2 contracts, at least take one off. The other one at this point should be at break even. Let's see where was the trailing stop at this time? Oh, see, the trailing stop got tapped. That's why the thing vanished. So here, look, let's reset this back again, right? Let's go back and play the trade over again so we can see the trailing stop. Okay? So imagine you were in this. Let's see how it goes. So playing it out, there's a signal. Okay, let's see where the trailing stop is. There's the trailing stop. Almost touched. Look at that. Let's see where this thing gets tapped out. So we know that we know that this is as high as it goes, right? The trailing stop right now has reduced your risk somewhat, but like I said, you should take something off. Now, this thing starts to turn red. Still, the trailing stop is still not at break even. So just from experience, of course, we have the benefit of hindsight here. But when you see a situation like this, you should probably be at break even. But if you want to give it a chance, that's up to you, okay? And it gets tapped out. See that? So you never took a full stop there. If you had held on to that second one, you lost half of what you would have lost. But since you took profit on one of them, the entire trade should have been green by like a small portion. Does that make sense? You can use a trailing stop as well in replay. Yeah. So it's really cool when you watch this thing in replay mode because you could see how certain trades would have played out. All right. Instead of always having to wait for trades, you can see how trades played out. And you could remember that and use that sort of as a training tool. All right. So that was the 15-minute. So this trade, look, Steven, this trade is still here on the, oh, I actually have the trailing stop on. Okay. Now, this thing is in, what mode are we in? All right. So I'm going to put it on counter trend mode to see if we can get, look, I got warnings. I got a warning in counter trend mode. That means a signal is likely to come very soon. What time is it? All right, play it for a couple more minutes. Let's see if we get a signal on Bitcoin, a short signal, which is counter trend. Like I said before, this is not the best time to be doing what I'm doing here. All right, it's the close of the stock market. Usually volume dries up. It's usually a very slow time. Signals are going to be very erratic, right? And in these situations, knowing that, I should probably automatically switch 1-to-1 because I'm expecting less. Okay, so I'm at 1-to-1 reward risk. If I get a signal, I'm only looking for 1-to-1 instead of 1.5-to-1, which obviously I'd be expecting more from the market if I'm at 1.5-to-1. All right, any questions about this, anyone? Any questions? I'm glad you guys like my prices. So again, if you want to sign up for the free trial, you can get this thing right now, 14-day free trial. Make sure when you sign up, here's the sign up, make sure you input your TradingView username. Okay, I'm going to type it in, username. Make sure you type that in and save that there because if I don't have your username, I can't invite you. Okay, and I'll have the invitations sent out, like I'll do it tonight. So it's going to take me a few hours. So it's not instant. It's not instant. Please remember that. So I don't get 10 million emails. How come I'm not in yet? Okay. Please give me a couple hours. All right. So we're going to wait for a signal here. Let's see if I get a counter trend signal. If I don't get a signal, like in the next 5 minutes, then we'll call it a day. At least we were able to see that NASDAQ trade, which was a nice example. Okay. Any questions about this? Now would be a good time. I'm going to be doing more trainings like this to show you how this thing works. And I'm also going to spend time. We have a student meeting coming up this month, which, by the way, you'll have access to as a member. As a TradeScanner Pro member, you'll have access to the student meeting. In the student meetings, I'm going to focus on more of the advanced uses of the TradeScanner, like counter trend mode and how to really identify the levels so that you know when to put it on and when to look for those counter trend trades. Because if you put it on randomly, you're going to have more of a random result. You have to understand something. Markets are highly random. So no charting tool is going to help us forecast markets with a greater degree of accuracy. Most of the time, we're working at 50%. So like, well, what good is it? It's like a slot machine. Yeah, sort of. The thing is, when you win more than when you lose, when you win more of an amount, right? You win 150, but you lose 100. Over time, you will come out ahead. That's how you play a random game. Okay? You don't play a random game by trying to be right all the time, because it's not possible. Imagine if you were playing a slot machine, okay? You would know better. Like, you would think, okay, I'm putting money into this machine by pressing the button. How would you know the future of what the outcome of the slot machine? You may think, okay, well, every 50 rolls, this thing pays out. Maybe, but there's nothing to tell you that. There's no guarantee, right? It's random. It's supposed to be random. Maybe the casinos cheat a bit and they change the probabilities. I don't know, but it's supposed to be random, and there's no way that you're going to know. The market is very similar. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. All right, I'm getting nothing here. Now notice I got some warnings, but no signal. So there's another warning coming. Look at that pin bar close. Now, where am I on Bitcoin? Let's look at an hourly. Where am I? And why do I have this on here? I got to turn this off. Make sure before you start a trade. Oh, the trailing stop is off. Okay. Is there a long signal? Is a short? Oh, this is the short signal from before. You may see old trades on the chart. Is this an old trade? Yeah, it's from a couple hours ago. The trade was called short here. Okay, and it's not working, but it was called short. So you'll see this. This is an hourly. Why am I on my hourly? Because I want to see if a counter trend trade makes sense here, right? I mean, it sort of does. I have this. This is a resistance area right here. Okay, it's a minor resistance. Let's look at a 4-hour chart again. I know like the 64K area. Yeah. So there is some resistance here. See this? There's something here. So counter trend on a 1 minute would be appropriate. Okay, that's not it's not like I'm shorting a support level, right? I'm not shorting 60K on a 1 minute chart. So if I get a signal here, it's in line with that resistance. So I'll give it a try. I got 2 warning candles. Okay, 2 warning candles. Remember, I'm in counter trend mode. Okay, it says right here, if you look, it says counter trend is active, right? That's how you know. All right, in case you forget, that's why we put that there. All right, so let's wait a few more minutes. Let's see if we get a signal. Now, how am I going to get a signal? What needs to happen? I need to see a big red candle. If I get something like that over the next few candles, I'm going to get a signal. So you see, I know this in advance. And I know because I'm getting a warning, the heads up. Now in counter trend mode, you're not going to see the heads up in trend mode, right? Like for trend mode, for example, see, there's a signal. All right, let's try shorting 2. Now I'm at 1-to-1. All right, so let's see if I get filled. Let's see what happens there. So again, there may have been a signal to go long here, right? There may have been a bullish warning here. There may have been one here, but I don't see those unless I'm in trend mode. I'm in counter trend mode, so I'm only going to see the counter trend warnings. That makes sense? 1-to-1. Let's see if it goes there. Okay, let's see if it goes there. Anyone have any questions about this? What do you guys think? Is it cool or what? I usually try to keep these streams a little shorter, but when I show the stream, when I'm showing the trade scanner, I want to show you trade examples. They don't always work. I want you to see both the good and the bad, so you know what to expect when using a tool like this. You know, a lot of these tool set providers, they only show you the good trades, right? Oh, this thing made $1 billion and you're going to be rich, right? That's what they always show, but that's not reality. Okay, and you have to read their fine print. Look at this. This turned right around on me. You have to read their fine print that says, oh, not all, historical results, blah, 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 blah. And they make it so small, you can't even read it. So you won't find that kind of deception here. I want you to see reality. I want you to see how this thing works. Okay. And the whole purpose of this tool is not to make you more accurate. It's to reduce the confusion, right? Even if you're playing a 50% game, this thing is giving you the visual cues so that you trade with structure. You take the same trades for the same reasons every single time. And it also keeps you in proportion for your time frame. I'm back on a 1 minute. These orders are proportional to the 1 minute. So if I respect the orders, I won't get into trouble. If Bitcoin decides to squeeze to 70K, I'm getting out here. I'm losing how much? Like 100 points. I think it's about 100 points. I'm losing like 100 points if I take the full stop. Okay, I'm not losing 1,000 points. Make sense? Okay, let's see if we go to the take profit. Can I put the trailing stop on? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, let's see if we can trail this thing a bit. Steen, let's see if this thing takes out the take profit, and let's see if it vanishes. I'm at the take profit right now. I'm going to take one off the table. Okay, I'm just following rules here. Let it go below the take profit. Come on, you could do it. One more tick. It's just sitting there right on it. I'm going to buy one back. Come on. Next candle. You can do it. I talk to the charts a lot. They don't listen, but I try talking to them. See, no good. All right, I'm getting out of one. I'm not going to give that back. I got one, so I'm short one now. You know how many times I've been in this situation where it goes like one tick? We just saw that situation before where I showed you. It missed it by a couple of ticks and it gives the whole move back, right? Happens all the time. So you have to take something off the table. So I took one off. Now it's going back my way. Okay. Now here's the thing. If this continues lower, the trailing stop will follow it. And that opens up the possibility of capturing a runner. And runners are something that normally you wouldn't capture, right? That's when you get those big trades. They're like, oh, how do you stay in those? You know how many questions I got about that? How do you stay in those big trades? This is how. The trailing stop keeps you in. And keep in mind, runners are rare. So you can't think every trade is going to be a runner. I'm sitting here, this might be a runner, but chances are that maybe there's like a 50% chance, or maybe lower because of the time of day, that I'm going to get a runner. But when you do get one, I mean, sometimes you get these ridiculous reward risks like 8 to 1. I once had an 8 to 1. I was experimenting with this and I got an 8 to 1 reward risk. I never get 8 to 1 reward risk. Okay. So the trailing stop is what made that possible. And there's no guesswork. There it is. So now, right now I have a few choices. I can get out for break even. Okay. If it goes to break even, I have that choice. That's up to me though. Do I want to take the risk or not? Okay. If I don't want to take the risk, I should exit at break even, but only you can answer that question. I can give the chance of the trailing stop to get reached, in which case I will, I took profit on one, but I will give some of it back on this one, right? Since this is a 1-to-1 reward risk, the net trade will still be slightly positive because I locked in one at the take profit, and then I'd be locking in one at less than the total risk, because the trailing stop has moved. See that? So my risk is being reduced. Right now it's been reduced by that much. So you're going to get these noisy candles that can drive you crazy. You have to give the market a chance. This thing may look all big and bad right now. It's trying to bounce, and it may get right to here, and then it may make its next move lower. I mean, that's what happens. We are at a resistance level. So it is possible that we pull back. And you say, well, where could we pull back to? What are some possible pullback areas? Well, that's when I go back to let's go to the 4-hour chart. Like, how far can this trade go within reason? Now, if you get a compound signal, like if we had a short signal on this on the 4-hour, wow, that's when you really try to hold on. But a reasonable area, let's see, probably around here somewhere. That's like 400 points. Okay, so that's a little high. I probably won't get 400 points, not in the next few minutes. But how far can the trailing stop run? I mean, basically the next support on is like around here somewhere. That's where it is on the bigger picture. So you could try to give that a chance. If this thing just starts to sell off and the trailing stop keeps you in, at least you have an idea of where you should get out. Okay. If it doesn't go there and instead it taps you out in the trailing stop, you get out. It's that simple. So do you guys see how this basically removes the decision-making burden? It removes the burden of analysis because all you're doing is waiting. You're waiting for orders to get touched. You're waiting for prices to get touched. These lines represent suggested orders. Okay. I can't trade for you. This thing can't trade for you yet. We're working on that. But this is where you place the orders. This is where you take action based on this thing's suggestions. And it comes from the trade scanner. Okay. The same decision-making process that the Trade Scanner Classic goes through. This is the same thing. Except we got more details here and we got more advanced features like counter trend mode and stuff like that. All right, this thing's taking a while and I'm not going to stream here all day. Oh, nice. Look, back to the take profit. As this thing wastes time, as it wastes time, the trailing stop will continue to follow. Okay. So every minute, because this thing is moving each minute, right? Every time the candle closes, the trailing stop moves closer and closer. We're almost at risk-free, right? A few more minutes, this thing will be at risk-free. Or I can choose to get out on my own if it taps out at the entry point. Any questions about this? I see people are quiet. Any questions? Okay, cool. I want to see this thing go below the take profit. Keep in mind, I'm still short one contract. I'm trying to give this thing a chance to run. But it's just very slow, which could be expected at this time of day. Okay. Any questions? So you guys know where to go. All right. I'll type it in the chat again in case you guys forgot. Okay. So you're going here. I'm going to type in the link. MarketSignalsPro.com. Okay. Trade Scanner Pro. Okay. Make sure I spell it right because sometimes I can't see what I'm typing. Signals Pro. Right. So you go there to that link and that will take you to the appropriate page. Okay. I just typed it into the channel and that takes you here. Okay. That takes you here. This is the page and this is the pricing. All right. 14 days for free. Nice. So, I mean, look, I had some losing trades, but I also have some winning trades here, as you can see. And I'm forcing the trades. I'm forcing trades because I want you to see, some real-time examples. This is not a good time to trade. All right. So any questions? Now, let me mention something else while I'm at it. Nice. If you get any messages from me first, I have to mention this like every stream, whether it's on Discord or on Twitter, it's not me. It's an impersonator. I don't message you first. Please understand that. I'm going to say it again. If I message you first, you get a message from me, you're on Twitter, and you're like, oh, Mark just messaged me. That's not me. That's an imposter. That's a scammer. Please block the person and then report them. There's a Twitter page set up it's an impersonator page. Okay. But they misspelled my name. You have to look carefully. It's not me, but it's really easy to tell if it's a scammer because I won't message you. If you message me first, you send me a message on Discord. You send it to me first. If you send it to Twitter, I don't answer because I'm never on Twitter. Okay. I don't mess around with Twitter. So you're not going to get messages from me on there. If you send me an email, I'll send you an email back. Okay. But you initiate the conversation, not me. That's how you know. If it's me, it's a scammer. Report the person right away. And also let everyone know that a scammer reached out to you so people are aware. I don't want you to be fooled. There's so much of that going on, that impersonation. Look at this trade. There's so much of that going on. And I can't believe people still believe it. And this guy is taking advantage of my good reputation, right? And if they, Mark's a good guy, he would screw me over because it's not me. All right. So please don't be fooled. Can payment be made in USDT? Radani, actually, yes, but you're going to have to send me an email on that because we're not set up for that. But if you send me an email, I'll send you the information, and then I'll manually take care of you. Okay. But the thing is, though, let me mention this, Radani. Let me mention this. Only for yearly. I'm not doing that for monthly. Okay. So if you want to do USDT, it has to be yearly because I'm not going to sit there and because I can't automate trying to collect $30 a month in USDT. I can't automate that. There's no way to automate that. But if you do it yearly, I can handle it. So it has to be yearly only. Okay. And then I'll do it. So send me an email. Okay. mark@markpmarkets.com. Send me an email and I will send you back the information. Send it to mark@markpmarkets.com and I will send you the information. And once I receive your payment, I'll set up and make sure you send me the your TradingView username. But you should still set up, Stian, how are we going to do this? He still has to set up, we still need his profile in the system. Okay. Yeah, we still have to get your profile in the system somehow because otherwise, we're just trying to do this so that things are organized properly while we're watching this trade. I would have signed off by now, but this trade wants to continue to make money. Look, at this point, look at this. This is a risk-free trade. You see that? My trailing stop is now at my entry price. You see that? We got to witness this in real time. You see that? How cool is that? So I remember I locked in one. I'm still short one. And remember, what was the first thing I was looking at before I took this trade to give this the chance? I looked at my level and I said, okay, it makes sense. A short makes sense here. So I will try to give the counter trend trade a chance. So I made 1-to-1. Look, I'm up how much? I'm up $157 on my second contract. Not bad for a really bad time of day. Again, this is a futures contract, right? So obviously it's higher leverage, but no reason for me to get out. Now look back here. It was a little shaky over here, right? It was a little shaky, but I gave it a chance. Now my trade is now risk positive. I mean, there's no risk. If this thing goes all the way, if this goes all the way back up here, I'm profitable on both lots. Right? I covered one for a profit, and now I'm letting the winner ride. This is how you make money. Because I normally don't capture trades this wide. I mean, this is probably 2-to-1 right now. Let's see. Yeah, it's 2-to-1, basically. This is 2-to-1 right now. If I close that second one right now, I'm making 2-to-1. But I'm going to let it ride because I'm full of greed. Or, you decide. Can I get out here? I can. I can wait for the trailing stop. Those are my choices. Now, do you see how this reduces your choices? It's like, okay, you decide. What do you want to do? How about you guys tell me? What should I do? Nicholas, because I always have fees on the exchanges, but I don't see them here. About these trades, are they paper? Yeah, these are paper trades, yeah. For real trades, do we need to also calculate the fees and adjust? Yes, of course. These are paper trades. There are no fees here. These are paper trades. This is not real money. When you do leverage trades like this would be a leverage trade because I'm using a futures contract. There's going to be a fee. They're going to charge you something for the leverage, right? And it's going to depend on who you use, how much, and the leverage rate fluctuates. It's confusing, okay? So we can connect to an exchange onto TradingView account. Yes, if you go here to trade, hold on. Paper trade, right? If you go here and you go to this right here, see this? Right? If I could see the broker lists, right? See this? These are the brokers that you can trade. You can connect to one of these and place the trades on TradingView. I don't really think you need to do that, but the option is available to you. Okay, if you use one of these brokers, you can connect through TradingView and place the trades. But again, there are fees. All right, please keep that in mind, and you need to be aware of that, and you need to understand how they what do you call it? How they calculate the fees. Okay. So let me get my let me get my panel back. How do I turn this thing off now? See all brokers. Oh, I guess I have to go back to this TradingView. Right. Okay. And then we just go back and we can see my trade panel. Okay, so look, this trade, look at the trailing stop now. Look how it's moving more exponentially, right? Look how fast it jumped. Remember before it was like over here? Now it's moving faster. It's moving faster to keep up with the price, right? See that? This thing looks like it wants to go lower, so I'll give it a chance. UTXO says cover now. You should target a daily imbalance or inefficiency to target your exit or wait. Well, you can do that. If you want to be more advanced, you can do that. Like like I said before, I looked at my level and my level was like 400 points lower or whatever it was. So I figured, all right, that would be a place to give it a chance. That gives me some potential to gauge. And that let me stay in longer, right? To give this thing a chance. But at this point, it's either I get out here or the trailing stop gets reached, right? Those are my options to get out. I can get out right now, or I can do the trailing stop. The trailing stop at this point is at 1-to-1. It's moved. So now I've made what I had risked if I let it go to the trailing stop right now. If this thing breaks lower, right, next candle gives me one of those, then I hold, right? Why not? The market wants to pay, let it pay. Now keep in mind, I could sit here and be all full of greed and just try to let this thing run. There's going to be a point where it does this and taps me out. And you're like, oh, you should have gotten out at the max profit. I don't know if this is the max profit. It might be. It might not be. You're flipping a coin every time, okay? But the thing is, right now, I'm playing with profit, okay? If I give anything back, now look, I'm beyond 1-to-1, right? If I give anything back, I'm giving back profit. I'm not losing anything now. You could say, oh, you're giving back, you're losing. I'm not losing. The trade is still a positive trade, right? So it's a mind game at times. I'm unable to sign up to the homepage for some reason. Wait, Monica. No, hold on. Monica, all you have to do is go here. Look, go to login. See this? See up here, login? This is all you have to do. Go here, log in, and log into your dashboard. That's all you have to do. And put in your TradingView username in your profile. That's all you have to do. All right, a couple more. I mean, I would have signed out a while ago. Okay, I'm letting this run because the trade is keeping me in. I want you guys to see the outcome of the trade. Yeah, Steve, all she wants to do is put her username in the profile. Or you know what you could do? You could private message Stian, give him your username, and he'll put it in. If that's not too much trouble, Stian. She's just trying to get to her user profile so that she could put her username in there. Click on paper trading again. Oh, yeah, okay, thanks, Stian. He's telling me how to get back into the thing. Yeah, so yeah, just send Stian a message. He'll set you up. He'll because we need the usernames, otherwise I can't send the invites. And I remember yours specifically was missing. All right, so look, there's nothing to do here. Market wants to go lower. Let it ride. I'll just let it ride. That's what Seinfeld would say. So trailing stop is getting closer. Now, either I'm going to get tapped out, like this is going to do one of these jumps like this. Happens all the time, right? Especially on a 1-minute chart. But the beauty of this, again, is I'm just sitting here doing nothing and letting the market do all the work, right? I have nothing to do. I've done my analysis. I know where the level is. Like if this thing just turns to complete garbage, and goes to 400 points, I'll probably get out, right? In that scenario, possibly. Maybe I'll let it ride. I don't know. But I can just sit here and just be stubborn and let it touch the trailing stop. I'm going to stay in it until the trailing stop. Now, how many times is this thing could have faked me out? I could have gotten out here. Oh, it's going to turn around. I'm getting out. And if this was missing, if there was nothing like that for me, I probably would have gotten out over here. Well, let me take my profit before the thing turns around. Market wants to pay more. I can't be making this up. This is real. This is real time. The profit's not real. This is a paper account, but I'm showing you a real-time trade. And it started up here with the warning, right? You see how that worked? Going back, first I got the warning. I knew the counter trend trade was reasonable. I got the signal. I took the signal. I got my first take profit, and I'm just letting the trailing stop take care of the rest. I do nothing but wait. That's my skill here. I'm waiting. Does this look hard for you? Like, we see a beautiful trade. This is a beautiful trade. They don't all come out like this. I showed trades earlier where I got stopped out. They're not all beautiful like this. But here's the thing that is beautiful. I normally don't capture trades this big. That's the beautiful part. Okay? Which means my loss is always fixed, right? My loss is always fixed. This does not continue to grow. This stays stuck here, right? But this is not fixed. This just continues. And when the market wants to pay you, okay, look, trouble. Let's see if they tap me out. And if they tap me out over here, I mean, that's a beautiful price. This is basically 2 to 1, basically. It's a little less than 2 to 1. Right now, I'm at about 2.5 to 1. If I had more than one contract, right? If I had shorted 3 originally, this would be a good time to probably get out of the second one and then hold on to one more and see how far it goes. But I only had 2. I covered 1 at the take profit. I'm just letting the runner run. You're seeing reality. Okay. I can talk about this in hindsight all I want. I could have had 100 contracts and, I would have covered 50 over here and now it'd be up $1 billion. Yeah. I could say that all I want right now after the fact that the trade worked out. Reality is I only have 1 contract on and it's a paper trade. How much is that up? $196. All right. Look, we're getting closer. Look at that. So right now, if I get tapped out right now, that's 2 to 1. That's more than 1.5 to 1 that I normally get on default. Now, keep in mind, I changed my reward risk, right? Remember how we do that? I set my reward risk on 1 to 1 because of the time of day. Normally, that's set to 1.5 to 1, right? Which would have put the green line like over here somewhere, right? The green line would have been like probably over here somewhere, something like that. Okay. So I'm a little over 1.5 to 1. 2 to 1 is probably right here. This is 2 to 1 right there. I'm greater than 2 to 1 right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this because this may turn right around and do. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the pop. Okay. This is what I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting. And that's when I'll get out. This is great. I recently started managing my trades using similar concepts. Well, yeah. That's why I built this tool, because it forces you to follow. Basically, number one, it's giving you the same trades for the same reasons every time, which most beginners don't do, right? That's number one. Number two, it gives you a visual reference so you know how to cut losers short and let winners run. People tell you that all the time. Oh, how you make money? Oh, you cut your losers short and you let your winners run. Great. But how do you do that? That's not easy to do, especially with all the psychological games that you play on yourself. This takes all that confusion away. That's why I built this. I mean, this is my system. And then we built in all this trade management portion of it, which is really the part that makes you the money. Okay, the system part, which generates the buy and sell signals, that basically the goal of that is to give you the same reasons to take the trades every time. But the system, right? People, oh, what's the win rate? It depends. Okay, it depends on a lot of things. The time frame. It depends on a few, the environment, right? But I would say, on the average, it's 50%. And no one wants to hear that. But that's the reality. I'm not going to sit here and lie like these frauds. Well, I'm going to give you a 99% win rate. Look at this trade. See? Told you. Right? That's what they tell you. I'm telling you the reality and how you make money with a 50% win rate. This is how. That part is real. Okay? Look at my trailing stop. I normally don't capture moves this big on a 1 minute chart. This thing may go to 3-1. So over time, what happens is if you're catching moves like this, not every trade is going to do this, mind you, but when you start catching more moves like this, your reward risk skews in your favor over time. This is probably going to get stopped out now. And that's okay. Because you know what? I'm happy with this. And if it doesn't want to stop out, then be my guest. So far, there's been a few, points here where it's playing games with me, but I have a visual reference. And until it goes there, I'm going to stay in it. This is how you do it. Okay. Imagine if I had to do this without this help, the uncertainty and the anxiety will get you out of this thing like up here. You'll be out like up here. And then you watch it go lower. I had it. How come I couldn't hold it? And then you say, the next time I'm going to hold it. And the next time you hold it and it does this to you. Okay. And you're like, how come this time it goes again? There's a conspiracy theory here, right? This thing is rigged against me. That's what we think. No, the market is random. That's the reality. This kind of stuff, like where like I'll get out here, right? And then it does this to me. Happens to me on the NASDAQ all the time because it's so noisy, right? I showed you that NASDAQ trade earlier. This is Bitcoin. This is not the NASDAQ. This is a lot less noisy, right? That's why Bitcoin and the Forex pairs, this system works really nice on because the noise is not as dramatic. So this is going well. I mean, I'm really happy with this. How much is the value of one such contract on the futures? I don't know. I guess it's going to depend on the exchange, right? This is BitGet. So I'm guessing that these contract sizes, I mean, look, I'm up $195 on one contract. How many points is this? We're at 66.40, 440, and I'm short from, so what is that? 200 points? So this is about $1. I guess it's $1 a point, I'm guessing. I don't know how big the value of the contract is. You'd have to look that up. Again, this is just a paper trade, so it doesn't really, I just wanted to show the example. But that's why you're seeing these numbers. Now, keep in mind, I locked in one. I had two contracts, and I locked in one over here. So I made like, what was that, like $100 or something like that? I locked in there. So this total trade is up like 3 something if this was real. Let's be clear, this is paper. It'd be nice if it was real, but it's paper. Okay, still I'm not stopped out. Got close. Look how close that got. But I'm still in it. So I'm glad you got to see this trade. That's why I'm still streaming, because these type of trades don't happen often. It was a counter trend trade. We picked it off at a level that made sense. The trade scanner found the trade. It gave me a heads up before the trade appeared. I was prepared for the trade. It appeared. I followed my plan. And now I just sit back and I just watch. The way to do this, though, like I said, is you want to set up your notifications, right? You want to do this. You want to set this up over here, set up your notifications so that you're not sitting in front of your computer. You just set this up. And then you get your notifications. So your TradingView app on your phone, your tablet. Okay, I'm going to get tapped out now. Tap me out so I can turn the stream off. It's like, nope, I was just joking. Want to pay me a little more? Okay. Pay me more. But again, you set your notifications and then you go about your business. So if you're at the grocery store, you're at your job, whatever, you're doing something else, you can't sit in front of your chart all day because you don't have that kind of time. Trust me, I hear you. You get the notification, place your orders. Okay? The orders are sent to you. The orders appear like this. You know where you should get in, you know where you should get out. You have your trailing stop on. Okay, you have to turn it on. When you get this thing at first, your trailing stop is going to be off. Okay. And it takes the trade away because once the take profit is reached, if you turn the trailing stop off, then it'll take the trade away. It waits for a new trade, right? But the trailing stop, you just go to your settings, you turn it on. It tells you up here, the trailing stop is activated, right? You read this little menu up here. See the little menu up here? It tells me I'm in counter trend mode. Oh, look at that. This thing just doesn't stop. It just wants to keep paying. This is what I mean. Let it pay. First time I heard someone that wants to be. Well, Steen, it's not like this is real money, and I got things to do. But this thing wants to keep doing this. Go ahead. Okay, this one. This usually when you get a move like this. Now look at this. Look what's happening. The trend is now bearish. Okay, the trend changed, and I'm getting an orange candle. It was orange there for a moment. You saw that? It may close orange. If I get an orange candle here, that's a warning that a bullish signal may be around the corner. Okay, see that? See it's orange? If this closes this way, I may just get out because that means it's giving me a warning because the trend is now bearish, which means counter trend, it's looking for a bullish signal, right? So I might as well get out. But let's just give it a chance. Like I said, I'm going to let it go to the trailing stop. Okay, candle closed. Let's see where this thing goes. So you saw that little preview, that little orange candle, which closed green. Now, Steen, how come? I guess. All right, no, never mind. I'll ask you that some other time. But if we get orange candles here, if we start getting orange candles, that's going to give me a heads up. That's why it's called heads up, right? Again, how do you turn that on? It's over here. See, heads up. This is the button right here. This gives you the warning. The trade scanner, when you get it at first, that's off. You have to turn it on. Okay, but if I get that warning, then that tells me, okay, a bullish trade may be coming soon, a bullish signal. I'm not going to stick around for that. I'll get out. Okay. I'm up like almost $250 right now in this thing on paper. But look at the time. I'm going to have to wrap this up. I'm talking way too long, but the trade they don't want to let me out. They don't want to let me out. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. Look at this. So you guys got the idea. Yeah, Bitcoin Bitcoin must like hearing me stream. So you guys got the idea. All right. So if you just came into the stream real quick, just go to marketsignalspro.com. I put the link in the chat earlier. Trade Scanner Pro, right? Marketsignalspro.com, trade-scanner-pro. It takes you to this page. If you go to marketsignalspro.com, you will just see the Trade Scanner Pro menu navigation thing up here. And this is the page. It explains it. Here's the pricing. Sign up for your 14-day free trial. Okay, this is the first day that this is available at this thing. Just keep in mind that you need to make sure you put your TradingView username in the sign up. I'm going to show you again. You buy the 30-day, right? $30. TradingView right here. See this right over here? That's where you put your TradingView username. Make sure you put it in there because if you don't, I can't send you an invite. So I'm going to repeat that 1,000 times. Make sure you put your TradingView username in that field so that I can send you an invite. It will take me a few hours. If you've signed up while I've been doing this stream, just give me a few hours, and by tonight, you will have this. You will have the invite. You will have access to this. You just have to put it on your chart. Okay? I showed you how to do that earlier. All right. I'm not going to wait anymore for this thing, Steen. You guys got the idea. I'm getting out. Okay? Oh, look at that. It heard me. I'm getting out. I'm out. So, not bad. Okay? Not bad. Can we see my if we look at the trade history, look at the account history. All right, so my first trade, looks like I made $30, right? My second trade, I made just over $240, right? So it's what, 270 on paper. Again, it's on paper, but not bad. And the trade is still going. I got out because I just don't want to wait anymore. but the trailing stop is still there. So theoretically, if this was real, I should still be in it. Okay. I just don't want to wait anymore because I'll be here all day. All right, you guys. So any questions, you guys know where to find me. Like I said before, if I send you a message first, it's not me. It's an imposter. It's an impersonator. It's a scammer. Report the person, block them. You send me a message. You could do it on Discord. You could send me an email, mark@markpmarkets.com. You could send me an email there, okay, and whatever, and I'll answer your questions. Other than that, go to the page, sign up. What name are you under? Oh, yeah, he'll reach out to you, whatever. He's a moderator, Monica. He's the moderator. He's one of the moderators. But there's his name. Okay, guys. So I don't see any other questions. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for watching. I hope you found some value here on this stream. I hope you are excited about the TradeScanner Pro. Again, sign up for the 14-day trial. I'll get the invite out to you tonight. Once you make sure you put your username where you're supposed to put it. I'm not going to explain that again. And if you have any other questions, please reach out and I'll be happy to help you. Okay? So everyone, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for watching.